What's up guys, it's Minariw. Someone asked me to make a video on all of my attachments, so I thought I'd just go over all of them today on every operator, at least for the ones I use. I probably won't be going over every single operator, or at least like not as in detail of most of them, just because I don't really use all the operators. So I guess we're just gonna start with Striker. I use the ACOG with Flash Hider and Vertical Grip. Just anything to help with recoil. I don't use the LMG. I use secondary shotgun. I usually run EMPs with the Hard Breach. I don't play him too often, so these usually don't change. And Sledge. I don't use him very often either, but right now I'm using Suppressor, ACOG, Vertical Grip. Honestly, I do recommend using Compensator, just because his gun does go sideways a little bit. And then just Vertical Grip to help with vertical recoil. And then you use grenades on him. Thatcher. I also use the L8. I think this one also has Compensator on it. Same attachments. Pistol, and usually Claymores would probably be the better option. Again, Thatcher's not really an operator I played much. Ash I play quite often. I don't use the G3 anymore after the nerf. Flash Hider, anything that helps the recoil. Again, Vertical Grip. I use Laser. I don't recommend Laser, honestly. I mainly put it on when it first, like, the change first happened with the new season of, what was it, Deadly Omen, when they changed all the attachments. I don't recommend using Laser, as it only helps you with the aiming down sights. It just kind of ups it by, like, what was that, 0.5? Like 0.05 says down there. But, you know, it's whatever you want, I guess. I used the 5.7 just because it has more ammo. It does less damage than the M45, but I personally just like this one a lot. Also has less recoil, which is nothing I like. Use Claymores as well on her, just because to help with runouts. Thermite. Use Compensator on him with Vertical Grip. Every operator I use ACOG on. I don't use... If an operator has ACOG, I'm always going to choose ACOG on that operator. I don't use A or C. And if I do, it's just because I kind of get bored of B, but B is always going to be my first option. And then apparently I used M45 again. You know, Thermite's not an operator I use a lot, but I guess I use that on him. I'm gonna just select this one. And then I use stuns. I don't use smoke grenades very often. I don't ever find them super useful, at least personally, because just on my play style, I don't really need them. Twitch, Flash Hider with her, and ACOG again with Laser. Don't really need that. You do use the 417. I use muzzle brake on that. You could use Suppressor, but I recommend using anything that helps with recoil. For some reason I have Laser on that as well. I personally don't ever recommend using the revolver. It does do more damage, but the reload takes forever, and it's just not a really reliable secondary. Again, with Claymores, use that. I do not play Montang, and you don't really need an explanation on his fucking loadout. Ooh, Glaz. I use Suppressor. Should probably switch it to muzzle brake. It doesn't really matter. I mean, his gun does have a bit of recoil, but I personally like to use Suppressor on it. Vertical Grip, just to help with that recoil. Red Dot C, just because it's easy to see through, especially with the zoom scope. And then the Bearing 9, just because it's one of the best secondaries in the game. So why not use it? And since it's 3 speed, you could just rush in with this gun, and it's so good. I do use Flash Hider on this one. It doesn't have a lot of side-to-side recoil. I do use Compensator on this gun on some other operators, but it honestly doesn't really matter. I think I recommend Flash Hider more. The sight doesn't really matter. He smokes on him just because it makes sense with his operator. Or with his gadget, I mean. Fuse, oh crap, did not mean to do that. What the hell? Fuse, I don't use him very often. I don't ever really use LMGs. I just use Flash Hider, ACOG, Vertical Grip. I use the PMM just because it's stronger. Has a faster reload. This gun is just complete ass. I do not recommend using this. Personally, for me, it just feels super slow and super weak, which technically it is, but it just feels, I don't know, the iron sights is also very bulky on it compared to the PMM. The PMM is just stronger in every way. Hard breach gadget, I usually prioritize using the hard breach over anything else just because when you're pushing alone or when you're last alive, it's just a good thing to have. I don't use fuse often, but when I do, this is just what I use. You could use shield on him. I've seen people use, but I don't personally like shields. Well, speaking of shields, there's Blitz. I don't use him. Q I use quite often. I prioritize the 5.8. I was messing around with the suppressor, but I do like Flash Hider a lot more. I use angled grip just to reload a bit faster. I think it ups it by 0.78, so not a lot, but it really does. To me personally, since it's an LMG, it just makes it a lot faster. And I know I say I don't use LMGs very often, but with a gun like this that reloads super fast, or faster compared to a lot of other ones, I just recommend it. I use laser just because it is an LMG and it is slower, so this is one of the moments when I kind of do recommend it, just to make it a bit faster, considering she is a 3-speed and LMG does slow her down a bit. The commando I don't use very often on her, but I do use Flash Hider, ACOG, and all this. I don't use AUG at all. I use frag grenades on her. You could use claymores. I usually swap between the three, to be honest, depending on the situation. Buck. I don't really use his cameras, but Flash Hider, just because he has a lot of vertical. I don't use the Gon 6, and I use Hard Reach. I honestly don't remember the last time I used the Gon 6. Blackbeard, I don't play Blackbeard. Honestly, the MK17 sucks. Honestly, I use Blackbeard whenever I'm just trolling around, but when I do use him, this is just what I use. To be honest, I don't really play him seriously. Honestly, if you're gonna ever play Blackbeard, I recommend using the DMR. Because you can tell I've never customized it. I don't ever play the telescopic scopes, just because I feel like it's just too much. You know, unless you're like a sniper like Cali or something, I just don't think it's a good decision. And anything to help recoil, of course. And flashes. Again, I don't use Blackbeard. Captel I don't use super often, but when I do, not sure. Well, I guess I haven't used them in a while. But this is what I recommend. And anything to help with recoil. I do play in a slower sense, which is why I recommend just using a lot of stuff with the recoil. I guess I use Gon 6 and Hard Reach gadgets. I don't know why I have Gon 6 equipped. Habana is someone I do play often. Just these and the Bearing 9, of course. Like I said, one of the best ones. I use flashes on her instead of breach charges. Just because she's a faster operator, I think it's a lot better to push with her. But playing Jackal a lot more recently. I've been prioritizing, or not, I guess, prioritizing wouldn't be the right word, I guess. Preferring, there we go. Preferring the PDW. I've been using the extended barrel. I was using Flash Hider, but extended barrel just helps. Just killing them faster. It does 4 more damage. It does have a fast fire rate, and it's a very good gun. And vertical grip without recoil. Really, the recoil, as you go at the bottom, the recoil pattern, it usually gets really bad near the end of it. like the first couple shots are usually the shots I'm actually using to kind of get the person, and the rest, if I'm spraying any more than that, I'm basically just spraying just to shoot. It does have 50 bullets in it, so the C7E I haven't been using as much, but when I do, this is just what I use. I don't use the shotgun, and I always use secondary shotguns. Always recommend that. I use claymores, again with the same reason. I don't really need smoke grenades most of the time. Ying I don't play often, but I don't use the shotgun. I use compensate on her just because her gun does go side to side a bit, and it's just a lot easier to use. I have smokes on her. Again, I don't play her seriously. I kind of use her whenever I'm trolling, or if we are planning a rush or something. So that's why I choose smokes on her. Zofia, I don't play Zofia very often. The LMG is one I kind of just use to troll. So this is kind of what I use on it. To be honest, honestly, I found this to be a pretty good combination. The horizontal grip just makes it go faster with it. I mean, using an LMG on a 1-speed operator is just horrible. You're like the slowest thing on earth. And for the M7, I use red dot just because I cannot control it with the ACOG. So I just use red dot A. Again, 1.0 sights don't really matter. I don't really recommend using any of the Russian sights, and by that I mean Hollow D, Reflex B, or where is it? Reflex or red dot B. I recommend red dot A, red dot C, and Hollow A, or Reflex. Those are my favorite ones to use. Iron sights just makes you aim down faster, so don't ever recommend that. Compensator, just because it does go side to side a lot. Vertical grip, laser, and claymores. Dokubi I've been using quite often. I use Hingle grip just to reload a bit faster. Our gun is very easy to use, just so it doesn't have a lot of recoil, and I'm most of the time using the SMG-12. I've been using red dot on it, vertical grip, because it just has a lot of recoil, and laser, just because the gun I like to play really fast with, and flashbangs. EMPs are good. They're never a bad thing to have, but I seem to use stun grenades a lot more when playing Dokubi. Usually we have somebody else using EMPs, so Lion. Compensator, I was using suppressor for a while, but compensator has been a lot better. Vertical grip, AGOG. I don't use the 417 on him, and I use P9. With flashbangs, I don't really need grenades on him very often. Finka I don't really play often anymore. But ACOG, compensator, vertical grip. Her gun does go side to side a bit, so that's why I use compensator. Again, with the handguns, I used PMM over this one. And I use frags on her, just because I find her to be a bit more, it's best to stay alive with Finka, considering that she is the healer on the attack. So, I usually use flashes when it comes to being more aggressive. I don't use the AR-15, I use the M4 with the flash hider, vertical grip, laser, with the 1911, and stun grenades. I don't use him often. This is basically the same load I use on Striker, just the laser is different. Again, like I said, laser is not super important, especially on most guns. Nomad, I don't use the AK. AK honestly just sucks. Flash hider, vertical grip. I always use the PRB, and never this one, just because I'm personally just not good with it, so just don't use that. Gridlock. I don't play Gridlock very often, but apparently, yeah, I don't play her very often. I recommend the F90 though. It is a super good assault rifle. The M2 is good too, but I don't know. Again, like I haven't played her very often. I do recommend EMPs on her though, just because she's more of a support operator, I'd see. Nook. I don't use a shotgun. I put suppressor on the FMG9 just because it kind of makes more sense with our operator. Use a deagle and hard breach gadget. Minariw, same thing with IQ, angle grip, all that. I don't play her often, but I use SMG-11. Don't know why these are my attachments, but you know, to be honest, another op I kind of troll with, so I don't take the attachments on her very seriously. Kelly, non-operator, play often either. Not much to really say about her gun, except the secondary, hollow A, and flash hider. I don't use these ones just because this is just significantly better in every way. I mean, these may do more damage, but this is automatic, and you can actually put a sight on it, unlike this one. And I put claymores just because, as Callie, you need to watch the flank. Well, not as Callie, just it's best to have your flank covered. I don't play Yana, but same thing with Nomad. I don't use the G3. Ace is an operator I do play quite often, and the same thing as Fuse and Claymores. Zero I don't play often. I don't really use the MP7. Well, like I said, I don't play them often. Attachments, 6, hard reach. Floors I did play for a bit. This is what I use on them. This is the only thing you can use on them, so I don't get much of a choice there. I use stuns. Most secondary gadgets on some operators are kind of situational, kind of like with OSA. I mean, with OSA you might want to run EMPs over anything else, just because you are more of a support operator. I recommend use the 5.56 over the PDW. I know I said the PDW is really good, it is, but I feel like when you're just kind of sitting behind a shield, it's just better to have a stronger gun than to have a faster fire rate, I guess. Personally, I just recommend this one, just a better choice in general, and EMPs, of course. Since I do not use, but I use the 417 just because I hate this gun, I'm not gonna go over it because I personally don't ever use sense. So Grim I have been playing more often. Same with IQ. I use the bailiff, like I said, the shotguns, and I use hard breach gadget just because most of the places I play him at usually requires me to have to get through a hard wall. Brava I do like to play a lot. I was using suppressor, but compensator just works a lot better. Super shorty, of course, and the claymores. Ram I use this, same as Ash. That and the stun grenades. Deimos I do not use at all. This is what I use on them. I forgot they added this. You can use this now. I just don't use him at all. So striker. All right. Defenders. Sentry. I don't use Sentry. I think I've played him once and that's it. As what I use on him when I used them that one time. Again, these are completely situational, depending on what site you're doing. I'm not gonna go over any of that right now. Smoke, I love to play. Always recommend using the shotgun. Using the FMG9 is not a bad choice, but personally, I just think the SMG11 is good enough, especially if I have a shotgun. It just makes him good in any kind of situation. I recommend that Red Dot C. I was using Red Dot for a bit. Again, any site doesn't matter. Flash hider, vertical grip. I've seen people use compensator, which isn't bad. It does take away the side-to-side recoil, but personally, I don't feel it that much. And I usually don't play super far with the SMG11. I try not to. So, and proximity alarm. Mute. I use the same thing as smoke, just with the C4. Castle, I use a suppressor with the vertical grip. I was using extended barrel for a bit, but I've personally just been liking the suppressor, just the way that gun feels in general. And super shorty, just because it's good to have. And proximity alarms, because most places where I do play castle, just it's better to have. It's better to just know where they are instead of having someone watch the bulletproof camera. Pulse is the same thing. I use angled grip except I use angled grip. I don't use them very often. I think I've really only used them like Arsenal on Clubhouse. And I use red dot C just because he doesn't have an ACOG, and I think it did for like a while and they took it away. And just laser. And the 5.7, I don't know why I have suppressor on that. I don't like suppressor on my gun. I've been meaning to take that off. And C4, just because C4 is always good to have, especially with the operator like that. Doc, I have to play often. I don't use the P90. I do not use the shotgun. I always use the MP5. I do use horizontal grip just because it's good to be really fast while being a healer. You know, you get to who you need to heal pretty fast. It does only make you go a little bit faster, of course. I think, right there at the bottom it says it only makes you run 5% faster. Personally, I do feel the difference. I mean, you do run faster with your secondary, but it doesn't make me, it makes me feel like I don't really need to do that. I use laser on him, flash hider. I was using vertical grip, but personally, it did feel nice for a bit. Reason I took it off is because it was just, I don't know, I was just so used to horizontal grip. I've just been using that ever since they updated it. And the bailiff with barbed wire. Rook, I don't use often, but it's basically the same thing as Doc. I don't use these guns, and the same loadout. Impacts, I never use Rook. Capcan, I play very rarely. Whenever I get the chance, I just use these with the PMM. C4. Shanka, I don't really play. Both guns are honestly pretty good. The LMG is good. But you know, this has an ACOG. So I do like using that, and horizontal grip just because I can move faster with that. And the bearing 9. Personally, I do think the Shanka is very underrated and should be used a lot more often. Yeah. Jaeger. This is what I use. The sight usually changes a lot depending on how I'm feeling. Right now, I'm feeling pretty good with the hollow. But it usually switches between red dot A, C, and hollow. I do like reflex on it, but it just never really feels good on it. So, and P12, and the bulletproof camera. I don't really use observation blockers. They are really good. It's just I never really know where to put them. I do not like this outfit. I don't know why I have this on. I actually don't really have that many. I don't want to put a big one on. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll change it later. Bandit. I used MP7. Right now, my attachments usually change a lot. I like to use suppressor on here, but right now it just hasn't been feeling well. I like the smaller sights on this gun. The hollow does feel nice on it, but I just like the smaller sights, like red dot reflex. Right now, I'm feeling reflex. And C4. Frost I've been using a lot. I use angle grip with suppressor. And the secondary shotgun with deployable shield. Shield was always good to use with Frost. Valkyrie, I just use these. It's not hard to use. I do like to use the shotgun. I do use the shotgun occasionally, not super often though. I prefer C4 with her. Kev I never use, but when I do, I use shotgun, impacts, and the shotgun I just put laser on it. Honestly, you don't really need a sight on this, just because the iron sights on it are actually not that bad. Echo I don't use often either, but when I did used to use him, I use red dot A and horizontal with bearing 9, of course. I forgot which operator I used compensator on it with. With impacts, honestly, deployable shields are pretty good with Echo. Usually I just use impacts just because it makes it a lot easier to make rotates. And I don't really play Echo in the kind of way where I'll just be sitting somewhere behind a shield. Mira, I usually go in between the hollow and the reflex on this gun, just because they feel really good. Compensator because it has a lot of side to side, as you can tell. I mean, you can't really tell here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain that. And the secondary shotgun with C4. Legion, suppressor with horizontal grip. His gun just has no recoil, so it's very easy to use. Well, my wish is correct. Super shorty bulletproof. Ella, I don't really use Ella, but when I do, compensator, shield, vigil, hollow suppressor, vertical grip, and the SMG12 impacts. Maestro I don't use very often, but I do like using a hollow on him. It just feels really nice. And of course the bailiff with impacts. The more destruction the better. Alibi I don't play seriously, so just suppressor on her. Bailiff with proximities. Clash I don't use. Cade, I do use both guns. Right now I'm preferring the shotgun just because it's been feeling really nice. I rarely have been liking DMRs, and the shotgun just kind of feels like a DMR. But when I do use the AUG, I use the red dot A, flash hitter, and horizontal. On the shotgun I use the ACOG, suppressor, vertical grip, and laser. And I use a revolver just because, like I said, I suck with this one. So I mean, this is like the next best thing. I should probably try using this one though, not gonna lie. I might try it. I never really need to resort to my secondary when it comes to Cade though. Mozzie, I don't really play anymore. I don't use the P10 Rone, and when I do, it's just more of a troll thing. Like I use iron sights on it. Commando is red dot, suppressor, horizontal, and C4. Warden, I do like to play. I do like using shotgun on him. Just because he has SMG12, the MPX is good though. It's pretty much the same as actually not. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. The MPX is good no matter what you put on it. To be honest, it's such an easy gun to use personally. And C4 Goyo I use pretty often. I don't ever use the shotgun just because the vector is so good. It does have a lot of recoil, especially with the ACOG, but you do use compensator because it still does have a lot of side-to-side recoil and vertical grip. I do not use laser on this one, and I use impacts just because better for rotates. I don't use AUG, like I said. MP5K, I use flash hider. I was using compensator for a bit, but flash hider just overall feels a lot better. And I use laser on them. With the P12, I know people prefer this one just because it has more damage, but to be honest, I feel like it wastes a lot of time just trying to reload this gun and make holes, so I just use P12 just so I don't waste ammo on MP5 because I do spray it a lot, which is why I use flash hider, because compensator removes the side to side, but how do I say this? It's just a gun I like to play more aggressive with. So, Oryx, I don't use often. I sometimes use shotgun on him. Is what I use on him though, when I do use him. And Bailiff. Malusi, same as Doc. And then Impex. I don't use the shotgun on her. Rooney, I do like to use MK14 with horizontal instead of angled grip like I did on Dokkaebi. Just because she is a one-speed operator, and it makes it's just better to use. And I use barbed wire. Thunderbird, I use shotgun with bearing 9. This is the one I use the compensator with. I do recommend the flash hider more though. I do use this for sometimes with reflex. I do think it's having a shotgun with such a strong SMG is just a better combo, so I always recommend that. With shield, just because I don't really need these two very often, and shield is always just a good thing to have. Thorn, I've been using her reflex, suppressor, vertical grip with laser. This gun's very easy to use. Suppressor just feels nice on it. The suppressor just honestly feels nice with anything with like a low fire rate. And then this just because, I mean, why not? And what do you call it? The shield. Azami. I don't use shotgun. Red dot. Extended barrel. Horizontal. Sometimes do switch it up just because it sometimes feels kind of weird. But that's what I use most of the time. And then impacts. Solace. I don't use Solace anymore just because of the nerf. But red dot. Muzzle brake. Muzzle brake I don't recommend on a lot of guns. Just for her. it feels pretty nice. It makes the gun feel more evened out. If you look at the recoil pattern, it actually is more consistent than the flash hider, because the gun does have a bit of a bounce if you look. Yeah. Honestly, like I said, when I use shotguns with strong SMGs, I mainly just use Solus just to mess around with the two guns like this. Don't use her anymore because of the nerf. I never use Fenrir, but basically just what I would use on Bandit sometimes, with the Bailiff, but I never use Fenrir. Tabaro I play sometimes, and I like to use the AR-15 just because it just feels better on him. I mean, with Maverick, it's just better to use an AR that is just really good. But with him, I think having a DMR on defense is honestly just good in general, not gonna lie. And then C4. Oh, I didn't even go over what I used. Muzzle brake and angle grip. Sentry. Oh, that's it, apparently. Okay. That's all I use. I'm gonna go over my settings super quick. I don't know why I'm connected to discuss. These are all my general ones. I know this is a new one. I know if I switch it to dark, it's just gonna mess me up. And basically what this is just when you get flashed, if your screen is gonna go white or black. So like if you're playing in the dark, it won't hurt your eyes if it's black. I kept it on white just because it just feels more natural. I think it would throw me off a lot if it turned black. I don't really mess with these a lot, so yeah, I keep this semi-automatic, just cause I mean, it just makes more sense, to be honest. These are just normal. I usually don't mess with these just because when I do have to make thumbnails or something, I have to put this into cinematic mode. So audio, I don't really mess with audio. I turned down the in-game music just because I hated it. I'm not using my headset on my Xbox, by the way, so I don't even know what the game sounds like right now. I should probably turn this off. I'm gonna just put it minimal. HQ voiceover, the announcer. No, I'm good. Stereo, which means that it just puts into both ears. Putting it mono, which just means that it's a single sound, so when people are on your left or right, you won't be able to tell the difference. This one's digital, just better overall. Voice chat, I never really use it too often, but when I do, I just keep it at 70. I feel like that was a good balance. Someone did mention that wondering why I use VSync, and the reason I use VSync is because, well, like it says right there, will give you better reactivity, but tearing may occur if it's off. So when it's on, your screen will not tear, and when I mean tear, it'll mean like, let's say your monitor is divided into 3, and like you have different how do you say, kind of just things, your screen, certain parts of your screen are moving faster than the other parts of your screen, and it's just very unsatisfying. Honestly, in the moment you won't really see it that much, but when I could tell a lot when I'm editing or watching back clips, and it's very annoying to watch. And honestly, I think I just play better on it. The game just feels a lot smoother. I use 84 field of view. I was using 90, but 84 just feels better, just because 90 just felt like everything was too far away, especially when I'm holding long angles. It's just very frustrating. HUD display, I keep it at 895, just because I felt like when it first came out, I didn't like that it was connected to the top, because it was never like that before. Menu display, it's just like that, 97. I do use vibration, which I've noticed is not a common thing. People usually use it off, but I do turn it really low on my Elite controller, so it's not even that bad. Gadget deployment is advanced, just because I don't want to be stuck on my drone when I try to bait somebody. Or I think, that's gadget deployment. Drone deployment is advanced. Well, they're both advanced, so it doesn't matter. Lean behavior is alternate, so I can lean at the hip. Controller layout, it's just default. I don't have any custom inputs, they're all default. I use classic just because updated just feels horrible. Vertical sense is 45, horizontal is 56. Dead zone is 5 on the left stick and 2 on the right stick. Both of these on the triggers are 0. Controller ADS, my 1x is 22, 2.5 is 34, and the rest I never really messed with. These are left as they were when the new season started, so that's just how they are. These are the only 2s I really messed with because those are the most important, the ones I'm going to use a lot more. And my advanced settings, I will not be explaining this just because I don't fully understand the advanced settings, except the acceleration part. I just know that all of this kind of just feels right and makes me feel a lot faster when I reach a certain point when turning my stick or moving my stick. So I don't know, I use black just because it looks clean. I use 50 just so I can see things better. The stun VFX is white again. I turn screen shake off just because why would you want that on? My team is blue, enemies are red, and I don't know anything about this. That's all I got for these. Now onto my controller, my elite controller. Sorry. There it is. I'm using the wrong controller. I'll turn the other one on. Let me see it. Go back to this. There it is. So I think this is the right one. So I have this one on instant. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain that, to be honest. These just felt right. I remember I copied this from a I'm Just Too Good video. If you don't know who that is, then well, he's just an old Siege YouTuber that I love to watch all the time, and I basically just copied his controller settings. These are a little different from what they were on my last video, just because they're supposed to be on this one. I don't know why it was different. Triggers, I both leave at 1. Honestly, don't even fully understand what they're supposed to be. And here's the vibration. Again, I turned them all the way almost down so it's not too intense. And this is just the color. I have it on purple just because my controller is more of like a red and pink kind of thing. I customized it in the Xbox Design Lab. Yeah, that's basically all I really have to show. I'm sorry if you don't like the way I explained everything, or didn't like me talking over it, but that's what you get. Hope you enjoyed. I will have a new ranked video coming out soon, hopefully. I just finished playing ranked today, so I'll be editing all this tonight. Thank you for watching. Don't know how to end a video, so bye.